Genki desu ka? I hope everybody is doing well today. Last day of school. We have last day of school today, so we'll do a little speech. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about myself and where I'm from, the Hopi culture in America. It's right near the Grand Canyon, about 100 miles east of the Grand Canyon. And first, my name is Ahkima Honyumptewa from the village of Bakavi, Arizona. I represent the Snake Clan, and I'm here today to help share information on our culture and how all cultures are connected, ancient cultures of the old times. And the first thing I want to talk about is what I do, where I come from. I'm a Native American artist. I do textiles such as these things, Hopi textiles and paintings that portray Kachina ceremonies and Hopi ceremonies that we see that the other foreigners don't get to see. So I show what we see to you guys that don't get a chance to come to our homeland, which I call Hopi land is Jodo, is what I like to call it. So I'm from the Hopi, Arizona, and I do a lot of textiles and weavings for the people. And in Hopi, a lot of the textiles that are being done is lost. We don't do that anymore, and especially with the dyeing and the spinning the yarns and all of that. And I'm trying to help bring that back.
分かったね。いい ?OK。どうするこのぐらいの英語がちょっと難しいという人。分かった。これは分かったね。もう少し話すの何分の複雑になってるから、その時話しますね。さっきの分かったね。You can sit down. And then まずはホピのアリゾナ州アメリカ。
So what we do in Hopi is pretty much we take care of all the land and all the life through ceremony and spiritual energy that we provide from the individual. And what we do is try to help take care of the entire world and the plants and animals through ceremony. And in Hopi today, everything is being not done right anymore. It's being misused. It's being, just like in all religious ceremonies or rituals, I believe is being misused now. And it's not being done right. And so I'm here to help share this information on to better oneself with Eastern philosophies and Western philosophies together as one, the Hopi culture.
今私はホピの先住民のホピは、ものすごく土地とつながりがある。だけど今ホピでさえそのつながり土地や全ての生命とのつながりが崩れつつある。それはここも同じでしょ。だから自分は、自分の考えっていうのを伝えに、ここに来ました。
So through my trainings and exercising, we need to develop our bodies and our minds. And in order to do that, we have to be somewhat connected to ourselves and our parents and family and friends. And so through my studies, I found out that there are 4 energies or 4 connections in the universe of all things that connect the strongest. And I want to share with you some of the information I was taught by my teachers who are ancient teachers. And starting with the 4th strongest energy would be connecting with people and friends and families. So when we connect with people and friends, that's how we treat each other, how we talk to each other. We should be using good language. We shouldn't be cussing all the time. We should be paying attention to what's going on around us and how we treat one another. That is a connection.
4つの彼が考える非常に私たちが彼が考える4つのエネルギーっていうのが、1つがフレンドシップとコネクションです。人とのつながり、これが重要である。
So the connecting is a very strong thing, and the third strongest connection is nature and how we live with and adapt with nature. And in Hopi culture, that was part of our life. We would live blending in with nature, sharing the same energies with nature. That is one thing that we don't have today.
私がすごくエネルギーを感じるものっていうのは、先ほどのコネクションと同時に3番目に 4つ目から言ってるんだけど、3つ目に大事なのが、nature 自然。それはホピー、特にその自然とのつながりを重要視して大事にする人々です。
And here is how the naturalness of life is the source. All that has form is born therein. So as a parent, it is close. The energy of food has its life therein. So as a ruler, it is generous indeed. All knowledge is learned from it. So as a teacher, it is brilliant indeed. People all harm what is useful by what is useless. That is why their knowledge is narrow and their days are not enough. Why? If they would use their leisure days to inquire into naturalness, their hearing and seeing would deepen. Not listening and not inquiring is like being blind and deaf in the company of others. So the highest learning involves listening with the spirit. Lower learning involves listening with the ear. The middle learning is listening with the mind. The learning of those who listen with their ears is in the surface of their skins. The learning of those who listen with their minds is in the flesh and muscles. The learning of those who listen with their spirits is in the bones and marrow. So the general purpose for listening are to empty the mind so that it is clear and calm. Discount moods and don't be full of them. Have no thoughts and rumination. Let the eyes not look at random. Let the ears not listen at random. Concentrate the vitality of the mind so that it builds up and the inner attention is fully consolidated. Once you have attained this, you must stabilize and preserve it, and must extend and perpetuate it.
Is the second one?
Yeah, this is the second knowledge. The second connection, the second energy. The first one was connecting with our friends and family and how we treat each other.
Second one is nature,
And
the third one is
the third one is nature. Yes.
The second is the second knowledge.
Yeah, the second connection.
And then the next one is
The next one, after nature, blending in and sharing the same energies with nature. The second one is marriage. Marriage and love. That is connecting, the second connections.
OK。さっきのちょっと長く話されたところは、自然とのコネクションのところの3番目の重要な点について話してたんだけども、おそらくこれがAhkimaさんの一つの今の活動の核になっている考え方をさっき述べられたんですね。ちょっと意訳してしまうかもしれないけど、Ahkimaさんのポリシーとしてやっぱり学ぶっていうことを頭で考えるんじゃなくて体で考える。体に吸収するっていう方法っていうものをすごく大事に考えている。今おっしゃってたのは頭で考えて考えるっていうよりも自分の体、骨、皮膚そこから、そこに浸透させるように人の知識とか考え方っていうものを深く考えていくっていうことが大事であるということをおっしゃってました。
Yeah. So marriage and love is the second connection, the second power that we have in our existence.
次が人との、愛とか結婚であります。
So when the marriage and your love is true, that energy, that power, is strong. With the right person, you can, raise up to godness. Holiness. You can raise up to the top just by the right partner. And it's only done with a male and a female. There's no male on male or female on female. It's because a male represents one energy, the female represents the other energy. And it's just like a magnet. When you put the magnets, the two opposites together, it makes one. You can't have two males going together or two females going together. It pushes away. So that's why I urge people not to get involved in the same-sex marriage and doing those kind of things, because it messes up our minds and it messes up our spirits and it exhausts our spirits. So we should be, respect one another in that way.
3番目、4つ目から言ってるから、4番、connection, nature、その次が marriage and love だとおっしゃっていて、秋間さんの考え方では、秋間さんの文化、あるいはその周辺では、男と女っていうものが、パートナーシップを結んで、そして助け合っていくっていうことが非常に大事だと考えています。
Yeah, and that's why that is very important. That's why it's the second strongest, the love between a male and a female. So the number one connection of all that I've learned from my studies, from the Hopis, from everything that I've learned from, is the connection between a mother and her child. That is the number one strongest connection in the entire universe that I found. And it's so strong that even when a mother, if something's wrong with the mom, the child is going to know. If there's something wrong with the child, the mom's going to know. And that's how strong the connection is. And so the mom and the parent, the mother is the most important. The father is there too, but it's not as strong as the mother. The mother is the one that has to be there at all times for the child.
最後に一番エネルギーを生み出すものとして秋間さんが重要だと考え、また自分のそのあらゆる仕事活動に重要だと考えるナンバーワンというのは親子のコネクションですと。特にお母さんと子供のコネクションが非常に重要で、それはお父さんよりも勝るものであるということを考えている。ホピのコミュニティというのは母系社会なので、特にお母さんとのつながりが強い社会です。
Yeah, so the greatest gift a child can give their parent is to make them proud. The greatest gift a mother can give their children is love and attention, compassion. So that's why I urge not to have children at a young age. Because where I'm from in America, in Hopi land, a lot of the girls are having kids when they're still young. 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds having babies. And they themselves aren't even developed yet. Their bodies and minds aren't developed yet. But they're having these children. And my mom always used to tell me that once you have a child, your life is pretty much over for 18, 15 years because you have to be there for your child.
秋間さんの考え方では、やっぱり若いうちに子供は産んじゃいけないと。自分が非常にマチュアになってから、つまり10代とか20代の前半で産むよりも後半で産んで、その子供と親のコネクションをしっかり作れる、自分も知識と経験とものが必要であるということをおっしゃいます。
Yeah, because when you have children at a young age, we forget about the children. They forget about their child because they want to go out. They have to work. They're too busy with work, they're too busy with other things. They want to go out and play and have fun and party out when their children is left behind. And that's why a lot of the kids today aren't being raised right. We have mental problems. We're growing up, without that love and attention. And so as a young person, we need to develop ourselves first before we have children.
アメリカのさっきちょっ とアメリカでもそうだそうだって言ったけども、やっぱりアメリカにおいても若くして子供を産んで育てられないケースがとても多くて、それを多分意識して今の言葉を言ってらっしゃると思うんですけども、そういう育てられない母親っていうのがすごく多い。それは秋葉さんが強く思うところでもあります。
So that's the number one connection that I found out, through my studies and experiences is, we need that love and attention as a child to grow up right. And this is some of the information I've learned and that could help maybe one of you guys, in the future, being the next leaders. You guys are going to be the next leaders coming up, and when you guys grow up.
これらは私の経験とそして勉強から学んだことです。だからみんなこれからの時代、初手で立つ人たちだから、私から何か学び取ってもらえればなと思って。
There is no place for exertion of effort in life. It's just a matter of being normal and unobsessed, taking care of bodily functions, dressing and eating, lying down when tired. Fools laugh at me. They laugh at me. It is the wise who understand what, we're talking about. An ancient said, those who work on externals are all ignorant or, lack understanding. For now, be the master wherever you are. And then wherever you stand is reality, and situations that come up cannot move you. Even if you have existing habitable energies, even that can't move you. Even if you have existing habitable energies that would impel you to evil deeds, it naturally becomes an ocean of liberation. Students today do not know truth at all. They are like goats nosing around, taking whatever they find into their mouths. They cannot distinguish the servant from the master, the guest from the host. People like this enter the path with the wrong attitude. They cannot enter into clamorous situations, yet they call themselves genuine renunciants. As for renunciants, they must master constant truth and authenticity of insight and understanding. They must distinguish the Buddha from the devil. They must distinguish the real from the false. And they must distinguish the ordinary from the holy. If they can make these distinctions, they can be called true renunciants. What I say is all temporary medicine for curing illness. There is no real doctrine at all. If you can see in this way, you are a true renunciant. You are genuine students do not look for the false of the world. What is most urgent is to seek real, true insight and understanding. If you attain real, true insight, it must be clear and complete before you are finished. So these are some of the teachings and learnings that I've learned from my own studies and my own experiences.
ちょっと長い引用というかところがあったものすごく詩的な内容だったんだけども、簡単に言うと私たちみんなと一緒にしちゃいけない。みんなの年代の、若い人たちっていうのは何が正しくて何が間違っているか真実と、不実じゃないもの神聖なものと神聖ではないものの区別がなかなかつきづらくて見たものをポンポン吸収してしまっている状況があると私は思うと。この見分け方っていうものを学んで何が正しいのかっていうことを判断できるっていうことがやっぱり非常に重要である。それを、彼は自分で今考えていますっていうことを
That's why I believe, as a Hopi and a spiritual person, that the younger generations today are mostly reincarnated older spirits. I believe that once you hear this kind of information, you're gonna know it right away. When you hear it, all you gotta do is hear it once, and you know. Where the younger spirits aren't gonna understand right away. It's gonna go in one ear and out the other. And so That's how we can tell the older spirits from the younger spirits, because the older spirits are going to concentrate on the inside. They're going to concentrate on their spiritual development, whereas the younger spirits, the lesser spirits, are going to concentrate more on their habits and their desires and their cravings. All they live for is for that very thing.
簡単に言うと、秋間さんはお話ししてても、特定の場所とか特定の人たちっていうのは違う人たちとか場所よりも早く学ぶことができるっていう考えを持っている。特に秋間さんはその、若いスピリット、オーダースピリットはヤングスピリットの若いスピリットっていうのは自分が今言った見分け方とかそういうものをもっと早く吸収することができると信じている。ちょっと止めてしまうんですが、今お配りしたレスポンスペーパーがあります。そのレスポンスペーパー最後集めますから、秋間さんに聞いてみたい質問とか、あるいは今回の感想とか、あるいは自分で考えたこと何でもいいので、そこにメモしながら聞いてみてください。分かんなかったことをメモしてくれたことなんですが、私が聞いて次回の授業で伝えるようにします。Sorry.
So the four greatest energies, everybody can write this down. Is the four strongest is family and friends, and how we treat each other, and how we should respect one another. That is a connection. That is how we connect with the outside world and with the people. We should all be respectful. The number 3 energy is nature, and how we should live with nature, and we should be like our own inner nature. We shouldn't have to be what's that word? I forget. We shouldn't be egotistic. We don't have to pretend to be like. We should be our true selves, and that's what the third connection is. And connecting with nature, because nature is the most important. That's our home. That's our land. The nature is something we need to. In all ancient cultures, were lived according with nature. It was part of it. Even Japanese. The ancient culture of Japan used to live the same way as we did in Hopi land. The number 2 connection is that of marriage and love for one another. That, marriage is a very important thing. And so that's the number 2 connection. And then the number 1 connection is the mother and the parent. And we can see this by, watching nature. If we look at the animals, the bugs, when they have offsprings, they protect their child to the utmost. They're going to make sure that their offsprings don't get harmed or hurt. And the mother will even sacrifice her life for her children.
これだけは覚えておいてください。4つの重要なエナジーというのは、まず4番目に家族と、フレンズのコネクション、そして3番目に自然と共に生きること、自然の中に生きるということを自然として生きるということ。2番目に、重要なトップなのが、トップから2番目は、marriage and love、結婚、パートナーを見つけることで愛すること。そして最初、最も重要なのが母と子のコネクション、愛、つながりである。
And a little bit of some insight from the Hopi culture with nature and how we live with nature is heaven sets up the sun and the moon, arrays the stars and the planets, sets out the 4 seasons and tunes darkness and light. It warms by means of the sun, gives rest by means of night, dries by means of the wind, and moistened by means of rain and dew. As it gives birth to beings, no one can see it nurturing, yet all beings grow. As it kills beings, no one can see it destroying, yet all beings pass away. This is called sacred and miraculous. Therefore, we emulate this in Hopi. When we promote blessings, no one sees how we do it, yet blessings arise. And when they remove calamities, no one sees how it happens, yet calamities disappear. It cannot be found out by inquiry, yet when examined, it is not unreal. Calculating short term, there is lack, but calculating long term, there is extra. Silent and voiceless, yet moving the world tremendously with a single word, Such are those who move evolution by means of the celestial mind. Thus, when pure sincerity forms within, its energies move heaven. Auspicious stars appear, yellow dragons descend, phoenixes arrive, flowerful springs emerge, fine produce grow, the rivers do not overflow, the oceans do not have tidal waves. But if we oppose heaven and are violent towards other beings and humanity, then the sun and moon will be eclipsed. The stars will deviate from their courses. The 4 seasons will impinge upon one another. Days will be dark and nights will be light. Mountains will crumble and rivers dry up. There will be thunderstorms in winter and frost in the summer. Heaven and humanity have interconnections. So when nations perish, the signs of heaven change. When the morals of society are chaotic, rainbows appear. Myriad beings have interconnection. Vitality and energy have ways of thinning each other's out. Therefore, the sacred and miraculous cannot be fabricated artificially by knowledge and cannot be forced to happen by exertion of strength. So great people join virtues with heaven and earth, join lights with the sun and the moon, join hearts with ghosts and spirits of old, and join trustworthiness with the 4 seasons, embracing the mind of heaven and the energy of earth. They hold to harmony and absorb its peace. They travel the 4 seas without leaving their houses, changing customs so that people change for the better in such a manner that it seems like it came from themselves. Such are those who are capable of exercising spiritual influence. These are some of the teachings that we have in Hopi, and I would like to share some of this with you guys.
ホピのティーチングについて彼の表現で伝えてくれたんだけど、全部訳せないけれども簡単な単語がたくさん出てきたね。初めは部分は自然の美しさ、月とか星とか自然とかお花、そういうものの美しさをおっしゃっていて、その次は彼独特の表現でそれが壊された時の世界観っていうのを伝えてくれていた。で、こういうものがなくなっていく時の恐ろしさみたいなものも最後に付け加えてくれていた。つまりそれは先ほどのコネクションの2番目にあった、ネイチャーってもののつながりと私たちの関係みたいなものを、彼がティーチング、それはホピの教えであるっていう言葉を使って、自分の言葉で詩的にアーティストですから表現してくれた。
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things that helps, our culture through ceremony is some of the pictures here. Yeah, some of the pictures we have through ceremonies.
これ、秋山さんが書いたものなんですけど。
This is one of the dances we have in Hopi called Numan Kachina.
Numan Kachina dance?
Yeah.
さあ、一つのセレモニーの一つ。
It's one of the dances we have in Hopi, which is going on right now, this very moment in July.
これは、July、今月ですね。今月に行われるダンスの、実際に今行われているダンスの一部なんですけども、基本的には私たち見ることできないですね。私の校外実習では見せていただくことが一般に公開されているものを見せていただくことができるんですが、普通こういうものは7月に行われるものは人は見ちゃ外部の人は見れないもので、これすべてホピの方が見ているものです。
And to everybody, in America we call it the monsoon season. In Hopi we call it the home dance time, the Numan Tikive time, meaning it's the last ceremony for Kachina, and it brings rain. It brings a lot of rain, and that's why when I was telling my friends here that it's raining here all over because of the ceremonies going on in Hopi.
アメリカでは今の時期モンスーン、日本でもそうです。夏に雨が多いからモンスーンシーズンっていうふうに言うんだけど も、でもホピの場合には儀式の季節です。ホピっていうのはもう完全に7月になるとあらゆる儀式が行われていくんで、それ9月まで断続的に続きますが、それはホピの場合にはホピっていうところはグランドキャニオンからも想像つくけど、全く雨が降らないんですね。砂漠地帯なんです。でその砂漠地帯に雨を降らせるための意味がこのダンスに、多くのダンスには込められていて、これもその一つです。でも秋葉さん今言ったように日本でもずっと雨が降ってるでしょ。これはホピがこのダンスを行っているから全世界とか全宇宙に雨を降らせるんだっていう解釈をホピはするんですね。ここから分かるようにホピっていうのは今ちょっと後でおっしゃってるけど、ホピの人っていうのはホピが世界の中心であり、世界の中心であるっていう表現は適切かわからないけども、自分たちが中心となってあらゆるものに影響を及ぼしているっていう考え方をしています。
Yes, and I believe that Hopi culture is for all spirits to go through, meaning that how we live our lives through karma and good things, we get reborn as a Hopi, and eventually you guys, your spirits, will be part of us, and we'll get to go through the rituals and get initiated into the ceremonies that we do. And so I believe that it's mandatory for all spirits to become Hopi and to eventually go through all the rituals and ceremonies to better our spirits to the next level.
Did you say that all people have a responsibility to participate in that?
Yes, but
even not Hopi?
no. What I mean is that we have to be reborn a Hopi, meaning even though our spirits right now, like you're foreigners. When we pass away, if you believe in Hopi and believe in the culture, you can be reborn a Hopi, a real Hopi, and then get to go through the rituals. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about like right now. I mean, we have to be born into it. That's the only way to go through the rituals and the ceremonies. And I believe, me personally, that I've went through all the ceremonies, that I've already, my spirit has passed and went through all the ceremonies that Hopi has to offer. And that's why I'm here to discuss, that with you. So that is some of the ceremonies that, give a little example. And the only way to make that work, you have to make this work. We have to make our bodies and our minds, as one through exercise, training, study. All of that stuff builds over time. Otherwise, if you don't, then you're just a regular human being that's going to go through the life cycle over and over and over. It's endless. And the only way to get out of it is through enlightenment. So that is one thing about, a little of the Hopi ceremonies that we do.
ホピのセレモニーに関して自分がホピにこのセレモニーに参加するっていうのは秋葉さんはその輪廻転生っていうのを信じていて、そしてこのセレモニーに参加することによって全部参加されてるみたい参加されていますが、また生まれ変わった時にホピとして生まれ変わることができると、だから全ての人がこれに参加しなければいけないし、それは次の生まれ変わった時にホピになる。ホピっていうのは世界の中心で、この世界を作った人々であるというふうに彼は考えるので、ホピとしてまた生まれ変わる。そのために儀式に参加するんだということです。で、もう一つの絵の方ですね。
Yes, and our concentration is what makes all of that work. And not just in Hopi ceremony or, all cultures, religions, and all of that requires concentration. Even our school work, everything we do requires it. So we should be exercising that every day, our concentration, our minds. And over here in the East, they do it through meditation. In the West, where I come from, we do it through arts and crafts. We do it through our farming and our field work. So I urge you not to throw away, time. Time is very important. We shouldn't waste it. A lot of us waste time doing, useless things that don't help. So time is, swift as an arrow. It's fast as a stream. Distraction is entirely due to the lack of concentration. Stupidity and blindness are caused by lack of true knowledge. Concentration needs practice. Insight needs learning. Perfect concentration means effortless flowing. With long and sincere training, it is possible to see the face of God or Buddha. Holiness is not about scientific objectivity. It is about a deep and clear recognition of the true nature of life. So we need to be compassionate to others. Concentration is something that, I strongly urge everybody to practice. And there are many ways of practicing it, through sports, through meditations, through martial arts, all of those things, yoga, everything, helps the body and the mind.
こういう作業っていうのは秋間さんが言うところのコンセントレーションっていう、集中するですね、そこから生まれてきたんだと。一番最初に彼が述べた学ぶことっていうのはどういうことかっていうところもつながってくるんだけども、彼は学ぶことっていうのは頭じゃなくてもうバディでするんだっていうことをおっしゃっていて、浸透するように学ぶ、その浸透するっていうのが言葉を変えるとコンセントレーション、パーフェクトコンセントレーションによって学ぶことができる。でそれは例えばそういうことによってアートもそうだし、みんながやってるスポーツも勉強は違うかな、学ぶってこと自体がコンセントレーションだからね。そういうあらゆる活動行動っていうものにコンセントレーションが必要で、それを自分は心がけているし、実践している。
So, would you like to liberate yourself from the lower realms of life? Would you like to save the world from the degeneration and destruction it seems destined for? Then step away from shallow mass movements and quietly go to work on your own self-awareness. If you want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken all of yourself. If you want to eliminate the suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. Humanity grows more and more intelligent, yet there is clearly more trouble and less happiness daily. How can this be so? It's because intelligence is not the same as wisdom. When a society misuses partial intelligence and ignores ancient wisdom, its people forget the benefits of a plain and natural life. Seduced by their desires, emotions, and egos, they become slaves to bodily demands, to luxuries, to power and unbalanced religion and psychological excuses. Then the reign of calamity and confusion begins. Nonetheless, superior people can awaken during times of turmoil, to lead others out of hard times. But how can the one liberate the many? By first liberating your own being, by liberating yourself. How does this not? He does this by not elevating himself, but by lowering himself. He lowers himself to that which is simple, modest, and true. Integrating it into himself, he becomes a master of simplicity, modesty, and truth. Completely emancipated from his former false life, he discovers his original pure nature, which is the pure nature of the universe itself. So these are, some of the teachings I've been taught, and some of my notes that I'm reading to you from the ancient elders that were in Hopi land, which are no longer there today because we've been changed by technology and the American culture.
今さん、今すごくちっちゃなノートを持ってらっしゃって、ここにびっちり言葉が書いてあって、先ほど何度も出てくるように、これがティーチングだと、自分が教わった言葉だっていうふうにおっしゃっていて、その言葉は誰から教わったのかっていうと、すごく古い人たちから教わったっていうふうに表現をしていて、それは今はもういない。ホピでさえ今はもうその人たちはいないって彼はおっしゃっていて、直接に教わったわけではなくて、 これから言うと思うけども、そこに残されているレコードとか DVD とか映像とか、あるいは本とか、そういうものから自分で掴み取ったっていうふうにおっしゃってます。
Yes, and this is a little bit of what I've learned, and I want to explain to some of you guys where I come from, which is the West. You know, I come over here where this is the East. You know, this is where the sun rises, where the days begin here. Where I'm from, it's where it ends. The setting of the sun is where I'm from, and that time ends where I'm at. And in Hopi, our culture is being lost because of the American government and the influences they're doing to our people. And not just our people, but all the tribes, native tribes that are in America.
私はここは日が昇る国でしょう。私は日が沈むところから来ました。アリゾナ、ここウエストですね。ここはイーストでしょって。あとは私たちの文化っていうのはアメリカ政府がやってきたことにホピだけじゃなくて全てのネイティブアメリカンはアメリカ政府の政策によって非常に文化が破壊され、社会が破壊されてきました。
So when I speak for the traditional Hopi culture, the true Hopi people and the true native tribes of North and South America. And I want to point out that the tribal council, the tribal government, and most importantly, the man in charge of the Cultural Preservation Office of the Hopi tribe do not speak for us. They do not talk for us, and they speak for themselves and for the American government. Those peoples are puppets for the American government, and they do not speak for us. And I want to make that clear, and I want to apologize for how they treat other cultures that come to Hopi asking, for help. And our tribal council and government is so corrupted and misleading the people that they're misleading, the world. And I want to make sure or let the people know that they don't talk for us. And if they want true Hopi insight, they should come to people like me or ceremonial leaders that have no affiliation with the tribal council or its government.
とても政治的な話をされているんだけれども、さまざまなマイノリティのグループってあって、ここでも話のテーマにしてきたんだけども、その一つのね、マイノリティグループとしてもさまざまな考え方の人がいて、例えば政府寄りの人、政府寄りじゃない人、スピリチュアルリーダー、あるいはこういうふうに毎日の活動で頑張っている方いらっしゃる方、いろんな方がいらっしゃる中で、アキマさんの考え方だと、自分はアメリカ政府と同様にそのアメリカ政府と一緒に、協力する、あるいは協力するっていう表現がいいかもしれない。しているような、ホピっていうのは自分は信用していないと。特に外部からホピに来られて、ホピってどういうところだっていう時に、やっぱりそういう政府寄りのホピの人の発言権が強くなってしまう。でもそういう人っていうのは他のホピの気持ちとか立場っていうのを代弁していなくて、自分とかあるいは宗教的なリーダーっていうような存在っていうのは、こういうふうに政府のハピーっていう表現で飼い犬っていう表現を使ったけれども、そういう人たちとは全く別の考えを持っているんだってことを伝えたい。
Yes, and America, I know everybody wants to be like America, everybody wants to do what America's doing, but we shouldn't. We should stick to our own culture, and most importantly, our traditional cultures, our traditional dressing and our traditional haircuts. We should have those, to show our respect for our cultures and our people. And where I'm from in the West, a lot of the people are negative. Everybody looks at you mean, everybody's jealous, everybody's mad because, that's just the way it is there. Everybody's disrespectful. Everybody's, not their true selves. Everybody's got to pretend to be somebody. And that's not, our teachings. That's not our ways. And I know a lot of people, have a big egotistic, mindset. Like when they go out in public, they're like this and they're like that, but then when they're at home, it's different. And so everybody's got to put on some kind of act or some kind of pretending to be who they really ain't. And what I'm here is to help make sure that everybody is their true selves and their true nature.
みんな、まあ、そうね、やっぱり個性を持つととても大事だっていうことを、人の一歩外に出ると誰かのように振る舞いたくなってしまうけれども、自分自身でいるっていうことを、その方法を私は皆さんに教えたい。
Yeah, in Hopi land, there is a reason why when we first started out in the very beginning of this world, we had to migrate. And we had to migrate and touch all four corners of the continents, north, south, west, and east of North and South America. And because of that, we left petroglyphs. We left our clan marks on every spot we stayed at. And the reason for that is, like I said, the number 3 connection is nature. And the purpose for that was to connect with the land around us, with nature, and to send our spiritual roots down so that way nature feels us. I mean, we can go anywhere, if your connection is strong, you can go anywhere in the world and nature will know you. I mean, I can be here and nature will protect me because we're protecting nature. And so in Hopi, the purpose for the migrations were to find the spiritual center of the entire world. And that spiritual center is at a place called Oraibi, and that's where Hopi was founded.
私たちのホピはもう非常に昔、モロクロニクの時間を覚えてますか？彼の表現として特徴的なのは年代とかおっしゃらないです。必ず絶対に非常に昔、ホピが今のところにやってきた。それは4つのコーナーからホピの今のアリゾナ州の今のホピの地域にやってきたわけなんだけども、それはペトログラフィーがいろんなところに残しているその痕跡で自分は分かると。でもともとその土地とのつながりが強い自分たちっていうのは、その土地とのつながりが強ければ自分たちはどこに行ってもそこに生きていけると、考えていて、でそのために、移動して今のホピのところに来た。その最も古いホピの村っていうのをオラービーと言います。
So what happens there, because it's the spiritual center, we call it a macrocosm of the earth. And because it's the spiritual center, what happens there happens in the world. Meaning you can see how the world is by what's going on in Hopi land. And the way the people act in Hopi, because from my own experiences, I don't trust any more Hopis anymore because of, our lifestyles now. There's a lot of drugs and alcohol going on in our lands, and it's polluting our minds and making us crazy. And so because of that, people that I've known, friends, have, backstabbed me. I've lost trust now. And so now I can't trust anybody anymore in my land because of that very thing. Nobody wants to take time out and, concentrate on self. And so that's why I want the people to know we don't have to be like America. We shouldn't be like them. We should be our own cultures. We have our cultures for a reason. And just like in America where we have different tribes, Hopi culture is all tribes in one. And every clan represents a tribe. And it's just like here in Asia, where all the Asian cultures are just like us. You have different tribes. And every culture is a tribe. China, Korean, Japanese, all these Asian cultures are just like us with tribes. And I want the Asian people from the East to come together as one. Meaning there's no more Japan, there's no more China, there's only a people, one people. And I want, just like in Hopi, we have a one people. We're all the tribes in one.
ホ ピって部族の名前なんだけど、この中にさまざまなクランと呼ばれる種族があって、それが全て合わさってホピです。でそれもホピっていうのはアキマさんの考え方では、アジアの国々が一つのクランだとすれば、私たち中国や韓国や日本みたいなものも一つのホピとしての世界を形成していて、一つの国がクランみたいなようなものだ。それを一つにまとまって一つの文化であるというふうに彼は考えている。
Yes, and Hopi is a very powerful place. If you ever been there, you can feel the energies and the power that it brings. And a lot of foreigners tell me when they go there, they feel this special energy. And that's because it's the spiritual center of the entire earth, meaning I believe that what we do there magnifies itself by 10. And so when you exercise and study and train your body in Hopi, you would develop a lot faster than you would, say, like in here or in Africa or in Europe. Our training levels and that energy, lifts it, it's faster.
これ本当です。ホピの居住地でもものすごく大きいんだけども、いないはなかなか行くことできないですね。時間がすごくかかるし、私たちも行くときは非常に長い時間、5時間ぐらい運転していかなければいけないから、近くの町でグランドキャニオンから3時間、4時間ぐらい運転していくので、ものすごく隔離されたところにとこにあるんだけれども、牧間さんが今おっしゃったことは本当にそうなんです。そこに立つと本当に力が溢れてくるんです。でその力の源っていうのが彼は言ったようにスピリチュアルセンターって言って、非常にパワーが集まるところで、ホピの人たちの考え方っていうのはホピから世界が作られた、その世界っていうのはホピを中心に回っていると考える、それはって考えるので、そのスピリットのセンターが、彼らにとって非常に重要なところなんです。
So it works both ways. It works for good and the bad. Everything we do, it works both ways. And so if you start doing things, bad there, it's easy to, fall into that. And that's why a lot of the people in Hopi are, messing themselves up, because it's easy for them to fall, whereas it's hard to go up. And once you get up, the hardest part of being up is staying up. You have to work extra harder once you get to the top, because it's easy to fall back down again. And through my experiences, I've always get to the top, but then I always fall down again because of, my own cravings, my own desires. I always put myself down because of that. And so in Hopi, it works both ways, the positive and the negative. And so one of the things I would like to share with you is karma and how karma works in life. Karma is a universal law. There's universal laws, and those laws never change. And one of those laws is karma. Karma can follow you after death. It can hurt generations, even your children. And so we need to know how karma works. And karma, as you guys kind of know what karma is what we do, what our actions cause a reaction. And karma is something we need to, be aware of. And karma is something you can save. You can save karma. You can build it. You can store it. You can even give it away to family members or friends who are sick or who are hurting. And the more good things we do, the more karma we build. And the best way to build karma, from my experience, is by helping people, in anything. Helping with the homework, helping with, cleaning the house, helping your parents, helping your friends and families. All of those things add up. And the more you help, the more your virtue and your karma build. And so when you're in danger, or when a family or a loved one is in danger, all that good karma you can give away to help them.
カルマって、どうやって訳したらいいんですか？業ですかね。日本語で言う業。人に何かを したらばその必ずリアクションが必ず返ってきて、それは人じゃなくて全てのものに態度には必ずリアクションがあるっていうことです。それは自分だけじゃなくて後世まで、あるいは自分の子供時代からのことも後世のこともずっと続く一つの輪廻転生の中で繰り返される自分が持つ業です。その業っていうのを彼は信じていて、私たち全てが持っているものだから、ホピの人は自分たちがセンターにいて、でそのセンターにいるからものすごく強いスピリチュアルパワーを持っていると。だからこのスピリチュアルパワーっていうのは、いい時はいいけど悪い時は悪いから、ものすごく、使いようによっては非常に大きなパワーを持つし、その使いようによっては自分たちを非常に苦しめるものであるから、こういう考え方に至るんだと思うんだけども、その中でカルマという一つの、ものを彼は信じていて、それを、そのカルマを生きる中で人を助ける、人にサポートするっていうことがいいカルマ、いい、サイクルを作り出す一つの方法なんです。
Yes, karma is something that follows, after life and death. And so what we do, and that's why being a parent is so important, because what we do as parents, we're setting that path for our children, that karma, so to speak. We're setting whether they're going to live a good life or a bad life. It all depends on the parents. And that's why parenting and motherhood is the most important connection of all connections, because it sets the tone for life. It sets the stage, for the younger generations. So even if you look at your own lives and your own mom and dad and how you were treated, you can see how the individual becomes. There's a saying in Hopi that if you want to know the parents, watch the kids. If you want to know the kids, watch the parents. And that connection is so strong, it shows in both. And so that's why, we can tell who are good people and who aren't good people by watching the parents.
このカルマの一番の見られるのは親子関係だっていう。
So that is very important, karma and how it works, and we need to understand that very thing. And just like karma, knowledge and wisdom is another universal law. It's something that can carry over after death. And the older our spirits, the more we learn in a lifetime, the more it can carry over into the next lifetime, to where you're not learning something from beginning, you're actually relearning what you've learned in previous lifetimes. And that's how you can tell the older spirits, because of the many things they can do. They're like they can do many things at one time because of, their relearning. And for example, on me, I believe I'm relearning a lot of things that I've already done, which is textiles. Textiles was something I've done in a previous life, and I've learned it so well that I even unlocked weavings that were lost through time and through laziness and like I said, in Hopi, a lot of the people are jealous and mean, and they don't want to share their knowledge, and they don't want to share their talents and their abilities. And so that's why a lot of the people where I'm from aren't real good, and so they resort to drugs and alcohol.
ユニバーサルを全ての人類に共通している法則っていうのは一つのカルマだったんだけども、もう一つっていうのが、知識だというふうにおっしゃっていて、私たちはLearning、学んでいるのではなくてRelearning、再び学んでいるんだということをおっしゃっていて、それは、前の自分たちの前の世界に私たちは輪廻転生してるから、生まれる前の知識っていうのは引き継いで学んでいるから、Relearning、それを引き継いでいるんだということです。彼はテキスタイルっていうのは、この織るっていう作業は、これは自分の前世で持っていたから、私は今持っているし、その引き継いだ作業をしている。一方で、彼がちょっと反対している一部のホピーっていうのは、あまりにも自分たちの技術とか考えっていうのを外に出さない。出さなくて閉じてしまっているから、それは彼は良くないっていう、それを伝えることによって広めていくということで自分の役割を果たしているわけですね、彼は。
And that's why farming And growing food is a teaching. It's a learning experience, not just for growing foods, but that's how we know parenting is one of the most important things, because when we plant our corn, our little plants, when they grow up, are like children. And we have to give them the same attention as children. We have to be there at all times when they're little. Just like babies, when there's a baby, we can't leave them unattended. We have to be there 24 hours a day, every single minute that the child is alive. That mother has to be there at all times. There's no leaving them. There's no daycares. They have to be there at 100%. And that's why I'm saying we shouldn't have children at young ages, because we still have a life to live. Life is fast, but then it's slow, depending on how we live our lives. And when we have children too fast, then that stops us from our own development, our own, going to the next stage in life.
その一つは、子供の子育てのquestion.
Okay, and so what I would like to say for the last is, with all this talking, what has been said, the subtle truth can be pointed at with words, but it can't be contained by them. Take time to listen to what is said without words, to obey the law too subtle to be written, to worship the unnamed and to embrace the unformed. Love your life. Trust in Hopi. Trust in your culture. Trust in your ancient teachings. You won't have to hide away forever in spiritual retreats. You can be a gentle, contemplative hermit right here in the middle of everything, utterly unaffected, thoroughly sustained and rewarded by your own practices, encouraging others, giving freely to all, awakening and purifying the world with each movement and action. You'll ascend to the divine realm in broad daylight. The breath of the Great Spirit has spoke today, and those who are in harmony with it hear quite clearly. Just like I can see just the people who take life seriously. I can see your eyes, I can see your energy. Whereas you guys who don't take life seriously are sleeping, are typing on the phone, aren't being attentive. And that's how I can tell. A lot of you guys are taking life seriously because you're looking at me. The other people that don't take life seriously aren't even listening to what I'm saying. They're just here for their credit. And I would like to thank Kumi-san for inviting me here. And I come here on my own time, spending my own money to make sure that the true native cultures in America, which is, by the way, not called America, it's called Hopi. That was the name we were given by the Great Spirit himself. And Hopi is a word, not only means peaceful, but it means, staying loyal to the true laws of nature, staying loyal and being a part of nature. And I speak for all the native cultures, traditional cultures, who don't have somebody to speak for them. And I thank the Japanese people and everybody here in Japan for being, respectful and honest, which we do not have in America. Nobody's honest and no one's truthful. And that's why there's another saying in Hopi, or in America, that, trust nobody. You can't trust anybody, because people will backstab you at the moment they have the opportunity. They use you, and that's what it's going on in Hopi now. And I don't want the people here to be like that. We should always be truthful and honest and sincere to everybody. That is a karma in itself, and it builds over time. The more you use it, and the more you're respectful. So, thank you for Kumi-san and for Ai-san for showing me around and being a good guide. And hopefully tomorrow we get to, we can talk more. But if there's any questions, the people have any questions, please feel free to ask. No questions?
They should have.
Yes.
But, oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah, you can just speak. このままいけますか?
It's very inspiring. I just have some question about the karma thing. So you said about like building karma is one of the things that we have and that makes us built of like virtue. But I just genuinely feel it's a bit like if we do rebirth and death over and over, it feels like unfair to some degree, because if my previous timeline, like I don't know myself, done something like a bad karma, for instance, it's kind of unfair for me. So I'm just curious, what do you think about that?
前世で何かをしたときに、それが今の世代で世界で自分に降りかかるのはアンフェアじゃないかっていう意見があります。
Yes, and I understand exactly what you're talking about. And usually, sometimes we get born into a life where it's bad. Like we're growing up in a bad environment, in a bad situations, and it's because, like I said, karma affects generations. And it could be our mother, our grandparents, our great-grandparents that could have caused that karma on us. And so as children, we're the ones suffering. For example, like me, my family decided to go the white man's way. And because of that, I'm suffering because I lost my connection with the Hopi culture. I can't speak Hopi because I didn't live and grow up in Hopi. I was raised in the cities. And that's why, that is hurting me now as a person, because now I have no, connection again. And that's what I'm doing is, fighting through it to regain that karma again, that trust with, the spirit, the unseen forces. And so my best advice would be to, just take one day at a time, and we don't have to blame ourselves. We can better ourselves in our situations through doing good things. And the good karma will eventually override that, depending on what our parents done or our great-grandparents. So that would be the best advice. Just don't give up. And I know a lot of bad things happen to us because of life and our situations. We just have to fight through it and just concentrate on our own spiritual selves. And that's probably the best way to overcome that.
はい、じゃあ次の質問です。皆さんさっきの分かりましたか？ちょっとじゃあ次の質問いきますね。
ちょっとさっきの質問については秋山さんの意見だと自分もそういう気持ちがとてもよくわかる。特に秋山さんは幼い頃からご両親の都合で堀内から離れて生活しなければいけなくて、今ホピの文化もホピの言葉も話せなかった。それは彼にとってものすごく大きなそれこそ前世ではないけれども、自分とは関係ないところで起こった、自分の運命に非常に大きく作用したことだったけども、自分は、今こうして戻ってきてホピに戻ってきてホピのことを考え始めているし、人生にいろんなことが起こるけれども、やっぱり次に自分がどう生きるかで祖先のがどう生きたかっていうのが、自分につながってくるってことを彼はおっしゃっている。
はい。
次。
私は、堀内のことについて伺いたいんですよ。独自先生の独自型研究の授業で、今のインディアンは堀内に住んでて、で秋間さんは自分の文化を広げるべきだっていう考えは、もしかしたらその堀内から出て文化の広がるに良いんじゃないかなって思って、だからその堀内はインディアンの文化を相談したんじゃないかなっていう考え方がありまして、それについてどう思っているかなって。
yes, the reservation is affecting not everybody, and it's making us isolated. And like I said, the American influence is messing up the people there. And me being raised not really in Hopi, but on the streets of Phoenix, Arizona, and being out there, I was able to see and hear the different personalities of people. You know, I've been on the streets, I've been on, you know, I know how it is. I had to hit rock bottom in order to get to where I'm at now. I felt how it feels to be, you know, left out, to being pushed to the side. As a child, I was bullied, you know, a lot when I was little. And I don't have any brothers or sisters, you know, from my mom. I'm the only child. And so I was pushed around a lot and, you know, laughed at. And because of the way I look, you know, I look like a little white boy. And with all the other Hopis, you know, they all, you know, look native. And I was always pushed to the side. And because of growing up in the city, I was able to experience the negative, the badness of how the city works. And growing up, that's why I started going into the bad ways, you know, hanging out with the wrong crowd, hanging out with the wrong people. And it wasn't until I finally hit rock bottom that I woke up. And I knew about my culture, and I knew about the Hopi, and I wanted to be a part of that. And so I left the city to go to the Hopi, where I thought, like everyone else thought, that it was, you know, nice and perfect when it wasn't. And Hopi is real changed from 100 years now. The people have changed, the customs have changed. Everybody seems to like things that are fake. Everybody's wearing fake clothing, their personalities are fake. Everybody, you know, is fake. And that seems like what America is at now. Even the food we eat is fake. The water we drink is fake. Everything is fake. And being on the reservation, that, you know, is changed a lot between the two societies, and but the two cultures. And I hate to say, but it's kind of good to go out in the city and experience some of what the cities have to offer. And you'll see for yourselves how, you know, the city life is not the good life. We exhaust our spirits and our energies. And then when you go back home to the traditional way, you see how it's more calmer and more peaceful. And to where eventually, you know, especially if you're close to nature, if you have somewhere that you, family or friends or a tribe that's close and lives by nature, I strongly suggest you go there and learn from it. Because one day, all of this that we have is going to be gone. You know, there's big wars coming up, and America is getting challenged now by other countries. And right now, the other countries are plotting on what to do with America. And America is not their land. That's not their land, it's our land. And I want to make the world know that we're there, the Hopi people and all the native cultures, the red men. We're there, and that's our land and our home. And so once America is gone, then our responsibility is to be there for the survivors. Even if you have family that live in America, let them know that we're here. And if anything happens, they can come to our land where I'll be at in the West to make sure that the survivors will have somewhere to go to and something to lean on. And so the reservations, you know, it's changed a lot between the two peoples.
質問だと、保留地の生活は実はもっとよりも都市に出たから今の活動できてるんじゃないんですかっていう質問だったよね。彼はその通りでちっちゃい頃出て、でもやっぱり保留地でも見かけはそうは思わないけれども、やっぱりそのインディアンっていうような見かけじゃなかったみたいな、子供の頃でもよく聞いたらば、別にそれは何か家族の中に違う人がいるわけじゃなくて、見かけがなんとなくアメリカ人っぽかったっていう。 だからいじめられた。だけど街行ってた時にやっぱりそれはインディアンだからといっていじめられたっていうような経験があって、で自分はやっぱりすごく20代の頃に荒れた生活をしていたんだけども、保留地に戻ってやっぱり自分の故郷に戻った。だけどもその時は保留地が変わっていた。全てのコネクションが失われていて、で自然との、人の食べるものも着るものも全部変わっていたってことに自分は非常に憤りを感じていて、で、今の活動に至っているっていうことがある。だからそれが都市に出たから分かったっていうのはその通りかもしれないけども、でも保留地も変わっていたっていうことで、それとは別にちょっとすごく興味深いことをおっしゃっていて、アメリカっていう国はやっぱり自分たちの国ですと。だから今来ている人は全て自分たちの土地に移民してきた人たちだと。でもしアメリカは今すごく問題を抱えていて、もしかしてなくなるかもしれないけども、その時はまた自分たちがその土地を取り戻す時だっていうことを伝えていて、もし皆さん家族にそういう人がいたらば、それは私たちの土地だと。家族がアメリカに住んでいる人がいたらば、それは自分たちの土地だってことを伝えてほしいってことをおっしゃってましたね。Any question? 他に何か質問がある人いますか？ない？
エナジーを生み出すもので一番大事なものとして親子とか母子のつながりってものを挙げてたと思うんですが、反抗期の時とかはどうするのかなとか、そもそもホッピーとかには反抗期っていう概念がないのか、もしあるんだったらその反抗期の時の母子のつながり方とかをどう乗り越えていくのかを聞きたいです。
When I was a teenager, that was the hard time for me, being a child. And because my parents, like I said, everything is through parenting. And my mom and them were so busy with work that they kind of somewhat forgot about me. And because of that, I got involved in the wrong people and the wrong way of life, and that I hurt myself because I didn't have that connection with my mother. And so that being a teenager was very easy for me to fall into the bad scene. And that's why I'm saying when you have children, you should have them not at a young age, but you should be already complete, old enough to understand, and you should be already into the next, old enough. And so when I was a teenager, I saw a lot, I did a lot, and I didn't like the way I was going, as a young child. And so because of that, I had to, find my own way out. I had to work hard, and it was through education and studying is how I was able to get out of it. But I had to do it on my own. Nobody did it for me. And so I fell into that, the bad ways. And a lot of the younger guys, the generations, you guys, are easily, misled. They're easily fooled by what's nice and what's, glamorous, where the simple and the strange, the weird is being pushed to the side, the tradition. Just like I'm sure that a lot of the younger generations here are laughing at your own ancient culture, are making fun of the people that are dressed in kimonos, wearing their ancient clothing, where all of you should be dressing that way. And so as a child, a teenager, it was very difficult. And that's why we need parenting and role models, so to speak, to help, show the path, to show the right way. And that's my job. I took it upon myself to help be that kind of person for those of you who are here listening with your spirits and not your ears.
確かにそうで、若い世代で自分もそうだったんだけども、ものすごい荒れた時期があって、その時に環境がそうさせたんだけども、その時にはやっぱり誰も教えてくれる人がいなかった、ミスリードと、あと誰もついていく人がいなかったっていうのがあるから、その時に自分がやったことはやっぱりスタディだと、学んだことだと。これ秋葉さんって自分で全部これ考えたり学んだりしてるんだけども、 そういう知識っていうのが自分はを救ってくれたということと、だから今自分もこうして教える側に立ちたいっていうことをおっしゃっていた、学んだこと、それは頭で考えることはなくて learning by spirit、 気持ちで学んでいることであると、学ぶことだというふうに考えています。
そろそろ時間になりました。もう少し話したい方がいたら次の時間も空いているので来てください。すごく早かった時間になってしまったんですけども、とりあえずここで授業はおしまいに、したいと思います。
Thank you so much, Ahkimaさん for your talk。秋間さんはもうすぐ1週間ぐらい後滞在してアメリカに帰る予定なんですけども、